I'm sorry, but we need to move on now. Now, we have 10 minutes to wrap up. So let me quickly move on to 2017. What's your own expectation of the 2017 news year? I mean, what stories are you anticipating will occupy you as a journalist going forward?
Well, the new government, so at the beginning, how the government is formed, and that means that the Appointment Committee of Parliament will be interviewing ministers for the president, and it will be interesting to see what kind of caliber that Akufo Addo presents. I expect him to present a very high caliber. I expect him to hit the ground running. I expect him to be an effective president because he's come to the job very prepared. He is a man who has sat in 400 cabinet meetings. He understands the country. He was ready for president in January 2009. He is going to be in January 2017, and he really have no excuse than to deliver. I think as a competent vice president, and so we are looking at a situation where a vice president who leads in a very competent manner will assist the government. He has already indicated that Yao Safumafu will be a big part of the process, and Yao Safumafu is also very experienced. We are hearing that he might have 4 ministers at the Ministry of Finance to deliver the finance bid. He's going to he's going to have some people who are going to be purely doing money raising and investment banking side of Ministry of Finance. He will have other people who are technocrats who are there. He will have people who are
Paul, that should take care of the quandary that we were talking about, about what to do with Ken Ofori-Atta and Akoto.
I expect that also. Yeah, everyone expects Akufo Addo to succeed. If he is right physically and he's right spiritually, I think that he could be one of the greatest.
What do you think is going to be his biggest challenge in 2017?
His biggest challenge is going to be the deficit that he meets and how he can quickly recover it, the time frame that it will take him to recover, because he will need time, and whether people are going to give him that time. So if in November 2017 the first factory in a district has not been put up, then he's going to have pressure. I don't know how he's also going to manage the power crisis, because the power crisis is on the precipice. Yes, because you only need an Ameri not to have a certain gas supply.
Yeah, and we are told that the supply we have now will last up to, I think it's
something like that. So how they're going to switch over from the NDC's management of the power crisis, which they will now find the details of, because we never got to know the details. We don't have a Freedom of Information Act, so we don't get to know these things. But the NDC managed it. How they managed it, we don't know, but the lights were on. The difference between how they managed it and how Akufo Addo can take over and manage it sustainably without an interference or interregnum of power crisis is going to be some of the biggest challenges, and how long it takes him to bring money in, get money out, align money properly, align ministries. All of that is going to take a while, you know. So
yeah. So for Paul, the economy and the power crisis will be a big thing for him. I mean, going forward, Malik.
For me, integrity in government. The biggest challenge that confronted the outgoing government was allegations of lack of integrity. And he himself, Nana Addo himself, ran his campaign on the basis of his integrity. So we want to see that integrity in government, and we want to see seriousness in government. Paul has spoken about the appointments. The kind of appointments that he will make will determine whether we will have a serious government or not.
We've already heard some names. Going into 2017, you think those names we've heard, if confirmed,
that's the problem. When President Mahama came into office, the first 4 appointments he made were all solid people. And if I mentioned some of them, Dr. Raymond Atuguba, Dr. Sule Gariba, there were 4 of them. These 4 persons, when their names were dropped, everybody was like, wow.
Then the party started fighting them, and then
he means business. Then the party started fighting. And then those moderates were fought out. All of
and then
them
the Hawks took hold.
Absolutely.
So you think 2017 it might play out in them?
So we have heard some names which.
Yeah. What do you think will be the anticipating reading as a journalist, the biggest stories of 2017? If you look into crystal ball for you,
the biggest story in 20 that he gets his appointments wrong. That will be the biggest story. Yeah. If he gets the appointments wrong, that will be so disappointing. That will be so disappointing. Yeah. I think he's tried to navigate that by consulting the party right from day one in the appointments, because some of the people he's running them by the party. Okay. I think if all that is sorted out and the vetting goes well and they take over, we expect to have a serious government.
What do you think will be the biggest story? What do you think his biggest challenge will be? I think that you've mentioned already. Let me bring in Nefia. If yes, quickly, looking 2017,
I think that the appointment Malik is speaking about as a strength will rather be a huge challenge. The fact that it's even consulting the party is going to be a challenge because there are interested parties in the party itself. And all of them are busy lobbying. If you go to Nana Addo's house right now, you'll be amazed by the caliber of people who are trooping in.
They say people are sitting there, they won't move.
It's amazing.
They want you to see them.
And that's going to be a difficulty for him. But on the economy, I see that that's where Nana Addo's competence as an international relations person to also being at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
He seems to have a lot of goodwill at international level, so he can bring that to bear.
I think that if he manages that very well.
And he had Baumia in his corner.
Fortunately, the U.S. election has been won by Republicans. The Republicans have a history of ideological similarities with the NPP.
Even though this is a different Republican.
It is of course. But I see that even Donald Trump, if you look at the campaign messages that he was sending out before the elections and after the elections, he's almost kind of minimize some of his stance. So I think that if you're able to lobby him very well, you're going to get him on your side, and therefore get.
So you think the economy will be a big story?
It will be a big story. His appointments, the attitude of officials, flowing from President Mohammed's government and what we've been exposed to, and how we've condemned some of the actions and attitude of some of the government officials. People will be looking. People making blunders. And NDC will be on the lookout. They'll be the highness trying to feed on these things. So if you make a slight error, you see, but by the end of 2007, like Paul said, we expect to see either the first factory or the first dam. Now, the circumstances surrounding that first dam or first factory, the award of contract, the issues, the amount and all that will be a very big story for
Can we do a part 2 of this? Because there are simply so many stories.
Yeah, we can't do everything.
We haven't spoken about the IEA debates.
We haven't even analyzed the EC,
We haven't spoken about activist Supreme Court and its decisions on the EC and all of that.
Let's question as a wrap up.
I think that we shouldn't end by saying that for me, my man of the year,
yes, news personality of the year.
For me, it's Martin Amido.
Why?
There's no doubt in my mind about that man. That for me, over the years, what he's shown is that he has the interest of the nation. I clearly know his intention. He hasn't given me any reason to doubt his intention. So I'm waiting for him to prove me wrong.
So you think he's
that intention?
Your news personality of the year is Martin Amido. Malik, your news personality of the year?
I don't know who competes with Baumia.
So Baumia is the news personality of the year.
Baumia gave us a lot in the year.
Okay.
Too many storylines.
Paul, your news personality of the year.
I was just going to say Dr. Baumia. He introduced a new breed of politician, and he's also demonstrated that you can leave technocrat business and become a politician. And if you're going to stay on course and stay on the numbers and stay on the statistics and your strength, you can be accepted as a politician in that regard. And I think that he was one of them.
You're making Misata, His Excellency, look very bad.
Well, Misata did not join the campaign and did not stimulate the campaign as a vice president the way that he should have.
I know.
I think that this interview cannot end without mentioning my favorite person in the MPP, Oboshi Sai. She's listening to us from the United States, and she's enjoying the program. This lady had worked.
Is she going to be the foreign affairs minister?
I don't think so.
I think her background is in media.
I think Shelly will do. But Oboshi had done a lot, fighting the propaganda and all of that.
Well, just before you go, media. I mean, you did a fantastic report analyzing the documentary.
Your documentary was good. It was good.
We're in the process of doing another one. So that documentary.
But I think before you do another one, I think that this one that you've done, you should go to all the universities. We need to have the way of transmitting.
Where can we get it?
That history to young people.
It will soon be on YouTube. It will soon be. No, we are not selling it. It will soon be on YouTube.
Yeah, but there should be
a base.
I still haven't watched it fully.
I have watched it fully.
My colleagues in the office.
I think that there should be a base to actually transmit this information, this history to the young people.
But you have a channel on YouTube that we can get?
Yes, I will be on next week. It's Paul Adomoshi on YouTube. That's okay. To be on. But we're doing the next one. This one was telling the history of Ghana through the elections. The next one is telling the history of Ghana through all the constitutions we've had. From the 1925 Godisbeck and all of that up until 1990.
And hopefully
when will it be out?
That should be out around the time of the 60th anniversary of independence in March.
And Imani is still supporting that.
Okay, Imani will be with us.
We will reduce the telenovelas.
Paul, you have to share.
I'm grateful, guys, but we run out of time.
We should share history.
My colleague Nathan Lato is standing by with the sports link. Malik, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Paul, thank you very much. You're going to say something?
I think that Liverpool will win the game and Manchester United will win as well.
You couldn't do it without Spurs.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
Manchester United.
We didn't even analyze the Spurs big stories today. But
the Stars are going to the
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for listening and thank you for watching. My name is Evan Spencer. This has been a special edition of Newsfile, the year review edition. We'll be back next year with another edition.